So we're diving into this Steelers quarterback situation, and wow, talk about a messy pocket, right?
Yeah, it's a real head scratcher.
We got articles coming out left and right. Everybody's talking about Justin Fields, Russell Wilson's return from injury. It's a lot to unpack.
It really is. And what I find interesting is, you know, we often focus on the X's and O's, but this situation, this is about so much more than just what's happening on the field.
Oh, absolutely. It's like we're getting a glimpse behind the curtain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're seeing the pressure these guys are facing, the uncertainty, and honestly, that's what makes it so compelling, right?
Totally agree. And speaking of pressure, Fields' recent comments about his own performance, let's just say he didn't exactly shy away from the spotlight.
Yeah, I mean, you don't hear a young quarterback publicly question his starting position every day, especially after winning 4 out of 6 games.
Right. It was pretty surprising, honestly. I mean, he straight up said, and I'm quoting him here, I don't think I played good enough, if I'm being real with you. Like, that's a bold statement.
It really is. And, you have to wonder, is that a sign of incredible maturity, or is it a reflection of the immense pressure he's feeling after that trade from Chicago?
I mean, it's got to be tough, right? You're traded from one high pressure city to another. You're expected to be the guy.
Absolutely. And let's be real Chicago fans, they don't let you forget.
Yeah.
But here's the thing that struck me. Even when he's being self-critical, he keeps bringing it back to the team. Like, he's saying, yeah, I can play better, but we're winning games, and that's what matters.
That's a refreshing attitude for sure.
No kidding. It's like he's prioritizing the team's success over his own ego.
Exactly. But, and we got to address this, the numbers don't lie. And right now, the Steelers' passing game, it's not exactly lighting up the league.
Yeah, there's a real disparity there, isn't there?
Yeah.
I mean, on the one hand, he's leading the league in rushing touchdowns
Yeah.
as a quarterback, which is wild, right? But then you look at the passing offense, and they're ranked near the bottom.
Right. It's almost like there are flashes where you see the potential. Like, you can tell this guy has the talent to be something special.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Those moments where he extends the play, makes something out of nothing.
Yes. But then there are those other moments.
The inconsistencies, those head-scratching throws, the missed connections. It leaves you wondering, is this just part of the process, the growing pains of a young quarterback in a new system? Or are we seeing, maybe some fundamental flaws in his game?
That's the million-dollar question, right? And it gets even more interesting when you consider how the offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith, has been talking about Fields.
Oh, yeah, it's like he's got a completely different perspective. He's almost fiercely protective.
He is. I mean, listen to this quote. Justin is incredibly hardworking and he's self-aware. He's his own harshest critic, sometimes to a fault. It's like he's saying, lay off my guy, he's doing his best.
Totally. You know how coaches are, always trying to build their players up. But it does make you wonder, is Smith just trying to protect his quarterback's confidence, or does he genuinely see something in Fields' development that we're missing?
Right. Because confidence, that's huge for a young quarterback.
Huge, especially when you're in a situation like this. But while we're on the topic of quarterbacks, we can't forget about the other guy in the room, the one who's been patiently waiting in the wings,
Oh, man. Yeah, now things are about to get really interesting.
Russell Wilson.
Right?
Back from injury, cleared to play. Talk about adding fuel to the fire.
It's like Tomlin just threw a curveball into the whole situation.
He did. And suddenly we're not just talking about a young quarterback trying to find his footing. We're talking about a seasoned veteran, a Super Bowl champion, waiting in the wings.
We can't talk about Wilson without talking about that arm.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh.
We're talking about a guy known for his deep throws, his ability to just dissect defenses. And, experience matters.
Big time, especially in a pressure cooker like Pittsburgh. And Coach Smith even hinted at that, He talked about how Fields' mobility has been huge for them, but there's a give and take when you're deciding who to start.
Right. It's like, yeah, Fields can make plays with his legs,
Yeah.
but can he make those game-changing throws that Wilson's known for?
And that's what makes this so tough. You've got Fields, the young gun with all the potential in the world.
And then you've got Wilson, the proven winner, who might be the missing piece for a deep playoff run.
It's a tough call. But you know what's interesting? Through all of this, Fields is saying all the right things.
Oh, tell me about it. I mean, this quote, this is straight out of a leadership handbook. He said, I just do my job at the end of the day, whether that's playing, helping the guys out on the sideline, telling them what I see, helping Russ out if he's out there.
I mean, come on. That's the kind of teammate you want in your corner.
No question.
Yeah.
And that makes you think, how do you bench a guy who's that dedicated, that
Yeah.
selfless?
It's got to be a tough spot for the coaches. Because on one hand, you've got Wilson, The guy who could potentially lead you to a championship.
And on the other hand, you've got Fields, the young guy who might just be scratching the surface of what he can do.
It's like a choose-your-own-adventure novel for the Steelers.
And Coach Smith, he's been here before. Remember his time in Atlanta? Quarterback controversies.
Mhm.
He knows how this goes.
Oh, yeah, he's got experience with tough decisions. And he even talked about the human side of it, how it impacts the players.
Right. Because it's not just about the numbers. It's about managing personalities,
Mhm.
building trust.
And in the end, sometimes it just comes down to gut feeling.
Absolutely. But one thing's for sure, Justin Fields is showing some real maturity on and off the field.
He is. And you know what else I'm seeing? Improvement.
Oh,
Real, tangible improvement.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, remember those interceptions back in Chicago? Those were rough.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Costly turnovers. Not pretty.
This season, though, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. That's not just luck, right?
No way. That's a quarterback who's learning from his mistakes, taking care of the ball.
Exactly. And he's quick to give credit to his coach, too. He talked about how much Smith has pushed him.
See, that's what I like to hear. A young quarterback who's eager to learn, who's willing to put in the work.
And that's what makes this whole quarterback battle so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's not just about old versus young.
It's about a young quarterback who's clearly benefiting from the coaching, from the system.
It's like watching a plant grow.
Yeah.
You nurture it, you give it what it needs, and then boom.
Potential, unlimited potential.
So where do we go from here? It's like we're all watching this high wire act, wondering who's going to take that first step.
And that's the big question, isn't it? Who's starting against the Jets? Tomlin, he's not giving anything away.
He's such a poker face, Keeps everyone guessing right up until game day.
Classic Coach Tomlin. But even beyond the starting lineup, I'm really curious to see how they utilize both quarterbacks.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, even if Fields doesn't get the start, could we see him in certain packages? Maybe situations where they really want to use his legs.
Right, like imagine him coming in for a few plays just to keep the defense on their toes.
Exactly. And what about Wilson? If Fields is the starter, will we see him at all? Maybe a series or two?
Going to be telling, right? Their playing time, even if it's limited, it'll give us a glimpse into what the coaches are thinking, both short-term and long-term.
Because that's the big picture, isn't it? Are they all in on winning now, maybe trying to make a run with Wilson's experience? Or are they prioritizing the future, letting Fields develop at his own pace?
It's a tough balancing act. And honestly, there's no easy answer. You could win a Super Bowl with Wilson at the helm, but does that mean potentially sacrificing Fields' development?
That's the million-dollar question. And it's what makes this situation so fascinating to me. You've got the weight of the franchise on one hand and the potential of a young star on the other.
And sometimes those two things, they don't always align perfectly,
They don't. But you know what? That's what makes the NFL so compelling. The drama, the uncertainty.
Absolutely. And for anyone who thinks they've got it all figured out.
Think again, right? Because this quarterback carousel, it's still spinning and we're along for the ride.
And that's what makes it so fun.
It really is. So to all our listeners out there, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll be back next time with more insights and analysis, breaking down the biggest stories in the NFL. Until then, keep your playbooks open and your eyes on the prize.